BMW suspect leads authorities on dangerous high-speed chase through Los Angeles County.
Armed robberies wearing body armor. No ICOM still. Okay, just making sure. I got ICOM now. We've got ICOM. We're ready. We're ready. We're ready. 30 seconds. Here we go. Flying by, David, a lone driver behind the wheel of that white BMW there in the center of your screen. This all started somewhere along the 210 freeway a bit east of here as he made his way towards the 605 towards Irwindale, through Irwindale, and then got on the 605 southbound, pushing speeds upwards of 100 miles per hour. Right now holding steady at about 90 miles per hour. You can see very heavily tinted windows, including that front windshield. Unable to get a glimpse through that driver's windshield. However, I can tell you that this is reported to be an armed robbery suspect, a full CHP pursuit package on his tail. I doubt they're going to give this one up for several reasons, but you can see he's now in the HOV lane. He's using all of the freeway at his disposal to get around traffic, weaving continuously as he encounters any traffic at extreme speeds. Now slowing down a little bit with traffic, but the minute he's got a straightaway, again, we've seen speeds upwards of 100 to 110 miles per hour. Again, southbound 605 passing Whittier Boulevard. His next freeway is going to be the 5 freeway, and we'll see if he decides to take that. He can take the 5 obviously north or south, or he can continue southbound on the 605. He's got CHP not only behind him, but he's got that airship right overhead. So if they decide that the speeds are too dangerous, and they are extremely fast, especially considering we're at the tail end of rush hour, they do have that option of relying on the airship to start calling it out, and they can position themselves further south of here if he gets off the freeway. But right now, doing a great job of keeping up with him. You get that primary unit and a secondary unit. These are all Baldwin Park CHP officers on his tail here. So we'll see how far they take this and how far he takes them. Again, one driver believed to be inside the car, no other passengers that we're aware of. There was a report that he may be, and it looks like he's slowing down with traffic here. There's a report that he may possibly be wearing some type of body armor, but that is very much unconfirmed at this point. Again, we're listening in as much as we can, trying to gather some more facts here. But again, this is believed to be an armed robbery suspect behind the wheel, guys. Yeah, and you can bet he is doing everything he can to try and lose them. But now, as he gets closer to the 5 freeway, he's going to become a little more desperate here as traffic slows down. You can see all 4 lanes of all 4 of the main lanes are slowing down solidly. But that HOV lane still has a little bit of room to play with here. He's going to stick with that lane. But that's all he's got at his disposal. There is no shoulder there, so he's going to use that HOV lane. He's slowing down with the traffic ahead of him. And I don't think, unlike the other pursuits that we've seen this week, Colleen, I don't think they're going to give this one up as easily because, A, first of all, they're doing a great job keeping up with them. But second of all, the charges here sound, at least at first blush, pretty serious. So an armed robbery suspect on the run from the CHP. Not sure if CHP was the primary agency, the original agency that initiated the pursuit, or what the details are behind that armed robbery crime somewhere believed to be in LA County. But in any event, he is considered armed and dangerous as we hear them on the scanner. And now here comes the passenger side window, cracked open slightly, and maybe indications there. I didn't get a really close look, maybe indications of a second person in that seat, but in any event, you saw the window come down very briefly and then right back up. That's about the first glimpse that we've seen inside of this car. You can see those windows are pretty much limo tinted and really impossible to see in there right now. He was getting pretty lucky as he was coming westbound on the 210 freeway. Very little traffic in his way, and he was pushing well over 100 miles per hour. He was indeed flying down the freeway, even as he made the transition onto the 605. When you saw that first shot of us pulling up and CHP right behind him, he was still doing upwards of 100. And then the further south we get, you can see he's really at the disposal of traffic here. But once again, according to our real-time speed tracker, he's at exactly 90 to 100, hovering between 90 and 100 right here. Getting off is that we're just south of the 105 here, just south of the 105. He looks like he's going to be getting off at, is that Rosecrans? Or, it's Rosecrans. He's getting off at Rosecrans, guys. You're right, Colleen. That's a sports car we're looking at. It's a white BMW, looks to be an M2 coupe, and he is definitely capable of going at speeds much faster than what we've seen in this pursuit. But he was encountering a little too much traffic there on the 605. Now decided to get off at the 605 here at Rosecrans. We'll see which way he goes. Eastbound or westbound are his choices. He can make, it looks like he's hugging that left lane, about to make a left eastbound turn onto Rosecrans Avenue, and sure enough, there it is, the eastbound turn onto Rosecrans. CHP continuing the pursuit. Look at him getting off of getting onto the off-ramp. He's getting on, back onto the freeway, another on-ramp here. This is going to put him right back on. Okay, he's getting on. I thought for a second he was going to go the wrong way. He's getting back on the correct side, but he just used that intersection to get right back onto the 605 freeway. Again, continuing southbound along the 605. We're just south of the 105 freeway. His next major interchange is going to be the 91 which is all of these freeways south of the 5 freeway are looking pretty clear, by the way. It's all green from here on south. So his heaviest traffic was a little bit north of here as he was approaching the 5 freeway. You saw that steady backup. He was able to manage that and now has very little traffic to negotiate with. In fact, he can really push it here if he wants to. He's still doing about 80 miles per hour, but he is showing signs of looking for an opportunity to maybe get off and maybe foot bail or something like that. But he's all over the freeway here looking for his next move to try and lose those officers. Right now, he is not able to do that. He's got a full pursuit package in tow here as they're right on his tail. I mean, despite the high speeds, they are doing, once again, a remarkable job here as he transitions onto the 91 freeway, taking that westbound transition onto the 91. I did not see that, but it could very well be, very possible. There is a chippy. Yep, there's a chippy, a couple cars behind him. He's got a full pursuit package plus a chippy, and I think your sentiments are echoed by the watch commander. He is much happier to have his troopers on the freeway chasing this guy than on surface streets. It just becomes all that much more dangerous with an unpredictable driver like this behind the wheel. If he gets off the freeway and continues these speeds and the dangerous driving, all bets are off, and that's where the risk just skyrockets. So again, a pursuit like this, high speeds, definitely want to see this stay on the freeway, right behind that sound wall there as he makes his way back onto the number 1 lane. Looks like he was over the gore point. Maybe he was about to transition there. In any event, over the gore point, around those cars. Look at him weaving all around here to try and lose those officers. At some point, we will be interested to see if they pull back. They have shown no signs of doing so just yet, but the speeds are certainly high, and the driving, the maneuvers here, one wrong twist of that steering wheel and it could be a disaster. So we're going to stay on top of this one again as he makes his way westbound on the 91 freeway at 90 miles per hour, trying to weave through the little traffic here that there is. Again, now we're going west towards the Long Beach area, and as we make our way further west, traffic once again will slow down slightly. So we'll see what it looks like up ahead here. As far as I can see immediately, he doesn't have any clear obstacles, but a little bit further up, past the LA River, past the 710, it will start to slow down on him.
Trying to stay on that 91 West, going towards towards the beach area. So again, we'll stay on this. We're seeing him to speed. David, you wanted to
I'm just pointing at this. I'm watching the odometer just kind of click over. It's above 100 miles an hour right now. And I guess having a chippy behind him on that motorcycle gives him a little bit of extra maneuverability and sudden speed if they need it. This guy's going to try to maneuver his way out from these larger CHP vehicles. Not sure if he's going to be able to do that, but having a motorcycle officer behind him is going to give them one extra weapon to keep up with this guy if need be, although I'm always fearful to watch a motorcycle officer. I mean, they're out there with zero protection and going at 100 miles an hour. That's pretty scary.
Well, one of the things that they can also do, aside from assisting in the pursuit itself and keeping eyes on the driver, they are able to shut down some of the entrance ramps to keep traffic from getting on the freeway. However, at these speeds, that becomes a little bit counterproductive. There's not a whole lot of effectiveness in doing that unless they have enough officers in position or maybe are able to create a traffic break behind them. Even behind them, though, when you're going this fast, it's really difficult, especially as he keeps transitioning. Now we're getting onto the southbound 710 here, so now we're off the 105, off the 91, onto the southbound 710. 10 here. Again, once again, over the goal point, a new primary officer taking over that lead position there. You saw they had that Baldwin Park SUV behind him, and now a primary challenger right behind him taking over as they start to do that dance, handing this off to various CHP stations in the region here as he continues southbound 710 freeway at 90 miles per hour with a lot more traffic. As he weaves around here, you start to really hold your breath, because the way he's weaving around at these speeds, this is where it could get very, very dangerous. Not that it hasn't been this whole time, but you certainly just hope that he doesn't make one wrong move.
Oh.
Our car enthusiast who is directing the show, Mike Gilbert, is telling me that's a BMW 135i. It's turbocharged, 6 cylinders, so it can really go, and we're actually witnessing that as this guy desperately tries to evade the CHP officers behind him. Keep in mind, I think, Chris, we probably would have seen them pull off of this one because it's become so dangerous, but it shows the level of suspect that they're dealing with. This is a guy that could be involved with armed robberies. He could be armed right now as we speak. There's also rumors that he could have body armor on. Plus, you add that to the tinted windows, the high speeds. This is a dangerous man, clearly, and they're taking it very seriously.
That's right, and there's no way to know, at least for us at this point, to know whether that car actually belongs to him. So if it's a stolen car, which we don't know if that is, we haven't heard that, but if it's not his car, there is no way to track him. If they were to let it go, they'd be relying completely on the air unit for as long as the air unit can stay in the air with fuel. And so that's not something they're willing to take a chance on just yet. If they can keep up with him, they're going to do that, especially as he encounters more traffic here. He is considered armed and dangerous, and that is giving them even more justification, as you talked about, to keep the pressure on and stay on his tail. There's that CHP helicopter right overhead there as he continues. Now slowing down again. Traffic bunching up here as we approach the 405 freeway, and looks like he's taking it. He's taking the 405. He can still go over that goal point, but looks like he's now committed. Now committed to the 405 freeway, and if I'm not mistaken, that will be the westbound transition on the 405. Double check that. Yes. Yeah, it looks like the westbound side of the 405 he's getting on here.
Yeah, and you can see that CHP so close behind him as well. But then you can see the box truck kind of moving over and letting him to get over. But again, this is always catches everybody off guard when you see a car driving this quickly and then the CHP right behind you. But again, we're sort of limited on our viewing to see exactly which part of this 405 he's right there.
Southbound 710 still?
It looks like it does say that, Chris, when you just said southbound 710, it's Sky Map.
Yeah, he was going towards the 405, and then he just used that connector to get right back on. So he's slowing himself down here. It gives you the impression that he may not be quite familiar with the freeways, at least as much as we thought he was. He seems to be maybe getting a little bit lost here because he's just using these connectors to get right back off, and now he's getting off. Now he's getting off. This is going to put him onto the eastbound, I believe the southbound side of the 405, which technically goes eastbound here. No, that's not the 405. That's not the 405 at all. That's going to be, what is that? That is Wardlow Road. Wardlow Road, he's going eastbound Wardlow, getting off of the freeway, and now things get real because CHP has a real decision to make here, and I presume I should say, that they are going to continue, but we'll see what the driving is like here. Now that he's getting off of the freeway, he is really giving these officers a run for their money, but they were able to make the transition with him, at least some of them were. We'll pull back just a little bit once we can to see if we can see how far that closest unit, look at him right behind him. Right behind him is that primary unit, a secondary unit, a supervisor behind them, and there's that chippy. So 4 units right behind him as he comes up on a red light, right through the red light, making a right turn there, southbound Pacific Place off of Wardlow, and now, like I said, this is going to become a much different game now that he is off the freeway.
Yeah, and then at what point, Chris, does it, we know that the CHP is obviously has jurisdiction over it on the freeway, but at what point do they start jockeying for which law enforcement agency sort of starts taking the lead in this, or does the CHP ask the local law enforcement to try to block some of these areas or try to make their presence known?
It's a great question, and the short answer is never. CHP is very territorial over their pursuits, and it is very rare, unless it turns into a foot pursuit and they need perimeter set up and areas cordoned off, then they will ask for assistance. But when CHP is chasing a suspect, it is their game. They will invite other CHP officers who are available to join the pursuit and help out however they can, but they very rarely, extremely rare, to see them mingle with other agencies unless it's really a need for mutual aid, and that is very, very rare. And you can see him blowing through red lights here. Another wild left turn there onto Willow, another red light here through Earl. No cross traffic there, but you can see them actually going through the red lights with him. Again, those same units maintaining pressure here, not even backing off at all. They are right behind him again, as you mentioned, and as Mike expertly said, this car is capable of speeds much faster than we have seen thus far in this pursuit. So it looks like he's now on Long Beach Boulevard, a right southbound turn onto Long Beach Boulevard. This will take him this is worrying, because this will take him right into downtown Long Beach. So on a busy night like tonight, you can imagine that the further south we get, the closer we get to downtown Long Beach, you will start to see some of those restaurants and shops and people crossing the street. Thankfully, he's getting off of Long Beach now onto Hill, which is a residential street just north of downtown Long Beach. And now we have to wonder if he had intentions of making his way and bringing the CHP down here. Is he familiar with this area? Does he reside down here? Questions that we don't know the answers to, but is this random or is this intentional? That's what we're looking for now. If he starts to go around and around, that'll give them an opportunity for spike strips, but right now he seems to be making a lot of random turns, like I said, just randomly.
He made some distance on that turn there. The CHP is still behind him, but they've dropped back just a bit. And now he goes right. But boy, some really aggressive driving, even going into oncoming traffic, or on the oncoming lane, at least, really cutting these corners pretty tight. But either they're letting him get some distance and trying to back off a little, or he's truly doing it on his own with that car.
He's zigzagging. He is literally zigzagging his way through here. That's a tactic to try and lose those officers. They're going to continue. Again, they know where he's making those turns because of the helicopter. They just can't go at the same speed he's going down residential streets. They have to slow down a little bit, but they know where they have to make the turns. They know where he is, and so they're going to continue as best they can to keep up with him. But 90 miles per hour down MLK Jr. here on a surface street, very, very concerning. This is a very concerning situation. Comes to a full stop. Here comes the driver. No other passengers, just the driver jumping out of the vehicle. He is now on foot, looking, okay, look at this. Is this a stranger's home, or does he know this person? Nope. He is certainly making this up now. Is he going to try? What's he doing here? What is he doing? Okay, hands up, giving himself up. Giving himself up. He sees CHP. They're going to make communication here. Guns drawn. Officers with their guns drawn. CHP troopers aim squarely at that suspect, now proning himself out, following orders as they approach him and attempt to make a felony arrest here. You can see that Chippy standing by right there. He is not going to put up a fight, and this pursuit coming to as safe of a possible resolution as you could have possibly imagined. It really couldn't end any better than this, because that was very, very scary when you consider the speeds he was going.
Yeah, that came to a very fast ending. And look at this, you know, the youngsters with their cell phones have to get a little shot of this. But part of the danger of these pursuits, if he would have continued on in this neighborhood at that high rate of speed, there are pedestrians, there are kids out, no school tomorrow, etc. A lot of danger zones. We are so lucky that this guy decided to get smart, even though truly that wasn't his intention in the beginning. But when he found that he had nowhere to go, he did give up, and he gave up without a fight. So thankful there. Nobody was hit, no injuries that we know of. No. Colleen,
it's worth reiterating, for the second time this week, we have seen the California Highway Patrol apply tremendous pressure on yet another suspect running from the law at high speeds, very dangerous maneuvers, and yet they were still able to keep up with him. And not only were they able to keep up with him, they were willing to give those officers the authority to continue the pursuit, to bring this person into custody as safely as they possibly could. It is so interesting when you cover these pursuits for a living to see the various tactics change over time with different agencies in our area, different municipalities, and different law enforcement. Different law enforcement outlets have different tactics, and CHP, especially lately, has certainly been compensating with very, very aggressive tactics.